Greetings, everybody. This is Amy Showalter. I'm going to talk to you about a fun book that I'm aware of called The Longevity Project and how the findings of health researchers affects your political involvement programs. Many moons ago, in 1921, I believe it was, Stanford psychologist Lewis Terman decided to follow 1,500 elementary school students, and his goal was to follow them until death to find out how long they lived and what their habits were among the ones who tended to live the longest. Well, unfortunately, Lewis did pass away in the 1950s, but some colleagues picked up his work where he left off, and Howard Friedman and Leslie Martin picked up that work, and they've written a book called The Longevity Project. And what they've found is that there are some key behaviors, and not just health behaviors, what you eat and how much you exercise, but specific behaviors in terms of how you handle life and how you look at life that determine your longevity in life. And I looked at this research and I thought, there's some applications there for government relations programs, PAC, lobbying, and grassroots. So let's look at a couple of the key findings. Number one, the people who tend to live the longest are conscientious. They're conscientious. They focus on the main and the plain. They do the little things well. They major in the minors to a degree. They follow through. They're organized. How conscientious are you with your government relations program? I was reminded of this when I conducted a focus group recently for a client, and one of the volunteers on the call said, there was this initiative I wanted to undertake with a grassroots program for my particular company, and I contacted my trade association to do that, and we talked about it, and they said, we'll get back to you on it, but they never did. They didn't follow through. And he was discouraged by that. And that sent, obviously, a negative message to him. So it's that follow-through, being conscientious, that really makes a difference. The researchers found that not the people that lived the longest weren't the footloose, fancy-free, carefree people who did yoga 24/7 and lived on a mountaintop. And I'm for that because I love the mountains, as you know, and I love yoga. But nevertheless, it's not that kind of lifestyle. It's being conscientious, having a goal, and really working towards that. So, are you focusing on the main and the plain? Are you conscientious? Are you conscientious? I think that will bring about longevity in your grassroots PAC and lobbying programs. Next, number two, they found that you've got to give more to live more. You have to serve. You have to have a servant's heart and find ways to give. Ask yourself, when's the last time you did something for a volunteer? You thought of how you could help that volunteer rather than what can they do for us? How much PAC money can they give us? They need to give us more money. What can we, I understand you have to do that now and then, and you have to have that mentality, but what are you doing for them? How are you giving to them in terms of praise, acknowledgement, benefits, and so forth? What are you doing for them? So give more to live more, and you'll have more longevity in your program. And last, they run the rat race. These people do run the rat race. They really persevere. They have grit, as what I call. They're gritty, and I like gritty people. I think we have a lot of lessons we can learn from them. But these people with longevity, at long lives, tended to always persevere at jobs they didn't like many times. This idea of having their dream job where they're singing Kumbaya with their coworkers and helping each other all day. It wasn't always the case. What was the case is that they were extremely gritty in tough times, in tough jobs many times. So to review, they're conscientious. They give more to live more, and they run the rat race. Ask yourself if you're doing those things in your government relations program for a government relations program with staying power and longevity. This is Amy Showalter. Thanks.